Bethesda seems to be on a bit of a comeback right now following the huge launch of Oblivion Remastered, which reminded the world just why we fell in love with this studio's RPGs in the first place, which served as a great primer for the upcoming Elder Scrolls 6. But with the Fallout 3 remake being all but confirmed, what does the future look like in terms of remakes and remasters for the Fallout universe? From the leaked court documents, it was pretty much confirmed that a Fallout remaster is in the works. But what else is on the horizon? Should we expect a Fallout New Vegas remaster, perhaps Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 remake? And what does all of this mean for Fallout 5? Guys, we have a lot to cover, so check the video chapters for easy viewing, and let's get started. So as I'm sure all of you have already seen and know, Bethesda recently shadow dropped the remaster of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, and boy oh boy, was it wildly successful. Bethesda Game Studios and Virtuos just set the standards for what it means to be a remaster, and they did so much, they left no stone unturned, that I personally consider it to be a remake, but we can have that discussion later. Either way, Oblivion Remastered was leaked way before the release. It was in the initial court documents in the Microsoft v FTC trial that the FTC kind of did a big oopsie and leaked those documents. But in that, we saw that the Oblivion Remastered was there, and we also saw Fallout 3 Remastered. Either way, like, we knew that the Oblivion remake was coming, and I have to say, it's a pretty baller move for them to bring back an old school Bethesda RPG after games like Fallout 4 and Starfield kind of strayed away from the classic structure that made the studio so popular in the first place. And it's not meant to be shade at Bethesda, because I absolutely loved both of those games, but there's also no denying that the last few RPGs from the studio were stripped back when it comes to their actual RPG mechanics. Oblivion, on the other hand, is one of the most intricate games they've ever made, and it's quickly reviving people's love for Bethesda as an RPG developer. But as I mentioned, the Oblivion Remastered leaked a while back alongside a remaster of Fallout 3, and while we still don't know where that remaster is, it's almost certainly going to be coming out in the near future, following the insane success of the Oblivion Remaster. I made a whole video about the Fallout 3 Remaster and where I think it's going to sit on the Bethesda release schedule, but the TLDR of the situation is that I'm expecting the Fallout 3 Remaster to drop somewhere in 2026, probably around the 12-month anniversary of the Oblivion Remaster, at least I'm hoping, so that way Microsoft and Bethesda aren't overloading us with new single-player RPGs, and it gives both of those games a little time to breathe, while also buying Bethesda more time to work on Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5. That being said, it's also very likely that a remaster of Fallout New Vegas is going to be entering development soon, assuming it hasn't already. The Oblivion Remaster has been a raging success, and we know for a fact that Fallout 3 is getting a remaster as well, unless of course it was like canceled or whatever. But honestly, if it was canceled, then they're definitely going to greenlight it again. Like, we want remasters of these games. So yeah, it seems like a no-brainer to do a remaster of New Vegas as well, especially since the Amazon Prime show is reportedly going to be doing a lot with the New Vegas setting in season 2. So yeah, if Microsoft hasn't already commissioned a remaster of New Vegas just yet, they're certainly going to greenlight it. Heck, they're probably going to do it within the next week or so, given how massive that the Oblivion Remaster launch has been. If you look at what the Oblivion Remaster did, they broke almost 10,000 concurrent players on Steam within the first hour on a freaking Tuesday morning, and then it was a few days after that that they confirmed that there was 4 million players that have played the Oblivion Remaster, which is an absolutely huge launch for a shadow drop like this. So there's no way that Microsoft doesn't take this as a sign to start greenlighting more Bethesda RPG remasters. But what if they don't stop there? What if we get remasters of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2? The possibility of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 receiving remakes in the same style as the Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered or the rumored Fallout 3 Remaster is going to be a pretty interesting topic, mainly because these games will be the hardest to remaster, simply for the fact that these are vastly different because they are CRPGs. But given the massive success of games like Baldur's Gate 3 by Larian Studios, there's definitely some revived interest in those CRPGs. Now, in the past, Todd Howard has stated that there's no plans for a Fallout 1 or 2 remake or remaster, and he emphasized that the charm of those games really lies in the original and dated presentation, which there are a lot of challenges in terms of them remaking it Fallout 1 and 2, because those games are isometric and they're turn-based CRPGs. They weren't developed by Bethesda Game Studios in general, so it's hard for them to like have a reason or want to do remasters of those games. Now, there is the possibility of moving away from the CRPG format to something like the first person or third person perspective, but in my opinion, I think that would be just a disaster situation. If they're going to do a remake of Fallout 1 and 2, they need to retain the CRPG format, and it would really come down to Bethesda finding a partner kind of like Virtuos to remaster a game like Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. In my opinion, if I want any studio to be tackling a remaster of Fallout 1 and 2, it would have to be a studio like the Wasteland developers in Exile, who were owned by Microsoft, who developed the Wasteland series, but they're currently working on Clockwork Revolution, and I don't know if they have any plans to do another Wasteland game. But yeah, it would have to be a studio like them that knows the CRPG format for remakes of those games to even be possible. The reason that Oblivion worked so well is because of Virtuos. They were the ones that did most of the development. Bethesda Game Studios was obviously helping out as well, but most of BGS's studio resources are going to Elder Scrolls 6. The remakes of Oblivion and Fallout 3 and most likely Fallout New Vegas Remaster will utilize the engine layering technology by still using this original game code from the Gamebryo engine, but then putting that Unreal Engine 5 like coat of paint on top of it. Fallout 1 and 2 utilize an engine that's proprietary from Black Isle, which that engine is so old at this point that they would almost be forced to do a full from the ground up remake for Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 to even be possible, which I think is the main reason why I would not expect Fallout 1 and 2 to get remade. Like, I just don't think it's gonna happen. And honestly, I wouldn't want it to happen. If I want like the studio that did Wasteland in Exile, if I want them to do another game, I would rather them do like another Wasteland game or a Fallout CRPG that's not tied to Fallout 1 or Fallout 2. Now, with that being said, when could we start getting these Fallout remasters like actually finally released? Well, back in 2020, obviously we had the Microsoft FTC court document that leaked that projected a Fallout 3 remaster would release in the financial year of 2024, between April 2024 and March 2025. However, now that those dates have come and gone, when could we actually see the Fallout 3 remaster release? Well, in April 2025, insider Nate the Hate stated that the Fallout remaster is still planned, but it will be a while. He gave no imminent release date or anything like that, which has obviously led to speculation that it could be sometime in 2026, which I think that's the case. But there's also speculation that it might not be until 2027, but that's even if it's real. Now, if the Fallout 3 remaster was like canceled internally, they might have to greenlight it again, and then we would be back at square one for the most part. Now, in terms of a reveal for Fallout 3 remaster, I would really hope that the game is currently deep in development and we get a reveal during the Xbox Game Showcase this year, because that would be an absolutely wild reveal. Now, they could decide to just wait and, you know, shadow drop it, kind of like what they did with the Oblivion Remastered, because that was really successful. But imagine the amount of marketing that they could do for the Fallout 3 remaster if they release it near a new season of the Fallout TV show. Like, that would be insane for them. Now, when it comes to the Fallout New Vegas remaster, this one is pretty interesting. Now, there's been a lot of people that have said that Bethesda Game Studios doesn't like Fallout New Vegas because New Vegas really outshined Bethesda, which I don't think that's the case at all. Todd Howard has said that he loves New Vegas, and I think it's safe to assume that we will be getting a New Vegas remaster. But when it comes to the reveal, obviously there's no concrete leak or anything confirming the New Vegas remaster. The FTC leak didn't mention it, and most speculation stems from just fan demand. Having seen the Oblivion remastered and knowing that Fallout 3 will likely get remastered as well, people really want a New Vegas remaster. Heck, I want Fallout New Vegas 2 as well, but that's a pipe dream that we probably won't get for a long time. Either way, I would assume that if we get the Fallout 3 remake sometime next year or even sometime in 2027, I would say that it's probably about 3 years after that that we get New Vegas. And like I said, Fallout 1 and 2 remake, I don't think we're going to get that anytime soon. That is, if those games even get remade at all. I think there's also a nightmare scenario when it comes to the new Fallout remasters and remakes, and that's the fact that Fallout 5 is so far away that maybe they decide to just wait to do a remaster of Fallout 3 and do it like a year or two before we get Fallout 5 to serve as a primer for the next game, similar to how Oblivion Remastered is a primer for Elder Scrolls 6. Like, there's no secret that people are more excited about Elder Scrolls 6 because of the Oblivion Remaster. But that's gonna wrap it up with this video, guys. If you enjoyed, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel with your notifications turned on so you're not missing out on any future gaming news. And until next time, this has been Wes, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.